Hello and welcome to Traditional Chinese Medicine, cupping, Moxa Treatment, and electric stimulation. My name is Christina Kapothanasis. I am a licensed acupuncturist here in the state of Hawaii, and I am nationally certified under the National Certification Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. I am also the Executive Director of the Hawaii Oriental Medicine and Acupuncture Association. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to share with you and demonstrate some of the other treatment methods we use aside from acupuncture, as everybody knows, the insertion of thin stainless steel needles. We have several other therapies like cupping, Moxa Treatment, electric stimulation, and even gua sha, which we can use to stimulate the points and the meridians on the body. And so I would like to start by sharing cupping with you today. I brought some samples of the equipment that I use, and cupping is a treatment method that uses glass or plastic, sometimes bamboo even, or ceramic cups like the one you see here, and these are suctioned onto the skin. These are suctioned at several locations from top to bottom on the body, and they are used to promote the blood flow or circulation in the body, circulation of qi or energy in the body that helps promote healing. So if we can get more blood, in other words, more nutrients, more oxygen to the muscles, tendons, ligaments, organs, then we can stimulate their healing that much faster. Glass and plastic cups are the most widely used material for cupping, and in China we used the glass globes. And to make the suction on the skin tight, you use a long metal stick that has cotton dipped in alcohol. You light it on fire, you swirl quickly to take out the oxygen in the cup, and then you quickly clamp it down on the skin, and the oxygen is burned off by the fire and thus creates the suction cup. But sometimes this can get a little bit overheated and can lead to burning or blistering of the skin if you leave the fire inside the cup too long. So I choose plastic. Plastic and glass are chosen above the other materials because it's clear. You can see right through the skin. You can see how strong of a suction cup and the different color changes and if there's anything going wrong. The excellent thing about plastic is that we use a little gun that takes out the air with each suction, with each squeeze, and it's very easy to control the strength of the cupping, and you can let it out a little bit if people think it's a bit too strong. So that's why I choose the plastic. There are different methods we can use with the cupping. One is called continuous cupping, which we put the cups on and leave them there for 5 to 10 minutes. This can feel very comfortable. It's not painful at all. It just feels like grabbing a big piece of meat, a big piece of skin, and there is no pain associated with that. When the cups come off, it can leave a light pink to dark purple circle, and that is quite normal, nothing to be concerned about. It should go away within 3 to 7 days. And in China they say that the darker the purple on the skin, the more stagnation is in the body, and it's necessary to get that out, as they also say with gua sha, which if we have time we will also show you today. In relatively healthy patients, the skin is only light pink and there is absolutely no discoloration after a few minutes of removing the cupping. We also use a type of cupping called pulsating cupping, and this is used by quickly taking the cupping on and off of the skin. So I will also demonstrate that today and share with you some of the uses that is good for. I have a model here with us today who has been so kind, fellow acupuncturist Nathan Zen. He will be so kind as to be our model for today and let me share these treatment methods with you. Some of the main functions of cupping are to alleviate pain. So as we mentioned, the circulation of the qi and blood is excellent for helping the muscles, ligaments, tendons, etc. to have increased blood flow and heal faster and release some of the tension in the muscles. It's also good for improving range of motion. For some people, after they've been in an accident or been injured, the muscles, ligaments, and tendons are very tight. It's really nice for regulating the microcirculation in the nervous system and improving the cellular metabolism and allowing more white blood cell function and count to approach the area. Some of the signs or contraindications, times when we should not be using cupping, are for people that have very sensitive or allergic skin. Even some people that have even open wounds. Of course, we do not want to put this on an open wound and make them bleed more, or if they have any severe swelling at the site of an acute injury. If people are having fevers or convulsions, if there are pregnant ladies, of course we would not want to do cupping on the abdomen or the lower back. And also we do not do this over large arteries like your neck or your femoral artery. But we do use it quite a bit on the back. So one of the first things I'll show you is we use it with people who have colds. One excellent way to release a cold is to get rid of the heat. So if you have a sore throat and you're feeling a little warm, this is da zui, and we can take a couple drops of blood even when we do this. So we can suction cup this right over here. If we wanted to reduce the heat or mild fever, we would prick the skin and take out just a couple drops of blood when we do that. To the side and back of this are points that are excellent for getting rid of wind. In Chinese medicine, we say that the wind in the exterior is responsible for colds. So these points will be excellent for that. And then right underneath that is a point called fei su, which is the lung point on the back. And if we can stimulate the lungs, which control your runny nose and sore throat, any postnasal drip or congestion you may have, this point will also be excellent. And we would usually leave these cups on for about 5 to 10 minutes. Also do acupuncture and usually give them herbs and some dietary restrictions while they aren't feeling their best. So this is one example we would use. Of course, we leave it on a little bit longer than this, but I just like to demonstrate more than one today, so I will take them off. You can see a little tiny bit of a pink circle, but he is relatively healthy since he doesn't have dark purple circles when we take these off. And it usually feels very relaxing. It feels tight at the beginning and then a really nice ease release of any tension that's there. Also, I use cupping a lot for infertility patients. Sometimes when the systems are really weak and we have so much that we need to focus on, I don't like overloading people with several needles, so in addition to the needles, we can also do cupping on some of the key organs that are associated with not only fertility but gynecological issues in general. We'll find the top of the hips and come up to the kidney point. We can use kidney and large intestine, which is a little bit lower point, also for lower back pain. This is excellent for lower back pain too. But we can also stimulate the organs. So for what I'm showing you now, our purposes, we are trying to stimulate the kidney point. Kidney, liver, and spleen are the crucial points when we are working with any gynecological problems. Liver. These points are also used for diagnosis, not only treatment. If you press on the liver points or on the spleen points and they feel quite tender, then we'll know that the patient is suffering from a dysfunction in those organs. This one is the spleen point. And then we can also see if they need any other points. Maybe this whole process of going through the infertility is making them quite unsettled and they're suffering from a little anxiety or insomnia. We may do the heart point. A lot of ladies suffering from infertility will need more circulation, so the diaphragm point you may do right here. Diaphragm point is excellent for cooling the blood, building chi, and circulating the blood. And circulating the blood is what we need to do. So we may do an example of these points for an infertility patient. And again, he does not look terribly purple, so he's in pretty good shape. A little pink is just fine. We just snap those up. And again, I can regulate the intensity of these. So if you want it stronger, I can just use more suction. If you like lighter, that's also fine. Let's see. For muscle pain and tension, of course we can use it on any point here. We can use it on jinging, which is a point where people usually feel a lot of pain. Out here, we can use it on the shoulder points. So for somebody who's coming in suffering from stress, I would use here and down the middle of the back. Shoulder pains, it depends on how much meat the person has, but we can use on their tin zone. This usually feels really nice to people. If they're suffering from more shoulder pain, we can do it down here on the arm. Those are all points that we can use the cupping on. And this is more the continuous cupping that we would want to leave it on for a little bit longer. Now if I can ask Nathan to turn over for us, we can show a little bit of the cupping that we might use on the front. Danisha, we're going to put back. So for a person that may have facial paralysis is sometimes a problem, we use a small cup and we use the pulsating style where we just go on the skin very lightly and we release it almost immediately. If you can see this. So it's just a very gentle, light stimulation, and this can help stimulate again the circulation and the nerves to, we just go really quick off and on. And we don't leave any discolorations on the skin, not even for a minute. It's just very light. So these are some of the quick kind of pulsating cupping that we can do. We can also use the pulsating cupping. For example, I had a man and a lady who had numbness coming down one side of their leg, and so I might use a larger cup with a little bit stronger stimulation to use along the different meridians that are numb, and we can sometimes clear up numbness even if it's been with them for years, or at least reduce it. Other people feel numbness like a glove that works its way up from the foot, and we can go down the different meridians quickly. This is also good for people who are suffering from muscle atrophy after, for example, having a stroke, and we can continue to do the pulsating cupping up and down the affected part of the body. Then, okay, so then we will go on to the electric acupuncture. We will start, since he's already on this side of the body, with the electric acupuncture for weight loss. Weight loss is not only a miracle cure with acupuncture and herbs, it of course has to do with diet and exercise, but to help out with that, we would use points here on the stomach for the digestive system, and for helping stimulate the digestive system to work better and thus improve and quicken the weight loss. But let me have you turn over for a second, Nathan, and we'll demonstrate with needles the electric stimulation For a common syndrome, the carpal tunnel, which a lot of people suffer from typing furiously, hunched over at their desk job, or some different kinds of repetitive motion, or anything that is affecting the neck. So for this kind of electric stimulation, we need to put the needles in first. Electric stimulation may sound scary, but it's not at all. It's, if you've ever had an eye twitch, just this little twitch pulsating feeling, then you know exactly what it feels like. So we're going to use the example of somebody who has carpal tunnel and numbness and pain from their neck down to their hands, and possibly a trigger finger where the finger does not open, it locks. It does not open and close smoothly. We'll first insert the needles in the neck, which correspond to the fingertips, your cervical vertebrae. If there is any pinched nerve in the neck, then you will be experiencing numbness depending on which vertebrae. Sometimes these three fingers, or these two, or different sides of the hand. And we just quickly insert the needles until I feel the stagnation. It's sort of like going through bubble wrap, I like to joke. Pyep, pyep, pyep. And then we will demonstrate one side today for your easier viewing. These points and this point here, jinjing, are often related to the numbness down the hands. If the patient has a trigger finger, for example, in his ring finger, we will put the needles on either side of the affected area, and electric stimulation between those points will help dissolve that knot that is causing the inability to bend and straighten the finger. And then we'll put these wires, attach these wires to the heads of the needles, like so, and to his fingertip. We will usually put more needles than this, but just for the sake of demonstration today. And here on his hand. And then we will turn the machine on and turn it up ever so gently until he feels a little stimulation, like this twitching sensation. Nathan, will you tell me when you feel it? Okay, so there's nothing scary, there's no zapping, it's just you can't see anything. Sometimes there's a little bit of a jumping sensation for people who want it stronger in their muscles for the pain relief. And then we would do the same for the finger. Tell me when you feel it. And then hopefully right after the treatment, or sometimes the next day, the pain and the numbness will start to subside. Sometimes it will go down from 2 degrees and 2 degrees and 0. And then we try to stretch out the time of pain relief and adjust the appointments as necessary. We also use this electric stimulation, which is a very minute current that runs through. The reason why we put 2 is because it creates a circuit. And we always keep the needles on the same side of the body. We don't put one needle over here and one needle over here. We don't cross the midline. If people have things like pacemaker, or they're very elderly, they have severe heart condition, we do not use electric stimulation on them, so we always ask. It's also not conducive for people who have frail, deficient constitutions, especially yin deficiency, which you can think something translatable to severe dehydration. And it's also not used on pregnant women. But for other people, we can get lots of success out of this. For pain, It's excellent for also paralysis, and it's good for people trying to regain their muscle function because we can use a stronger stimulation where it actually helps the muscle to contract. As we were mentioning with the stroke patients, that is excellent. We usually put the needles in for 20 to 30 minutes, and then we can leave the electric stimulation on for about that same time too. Other things that we use it for pain anywhere. So if you have lower back pain, we might stimulate that. Lower back pain also usually affects these muscles here in the buttocks, and we might use stimulation here to relieve this pain. We will follow the pain down your legs, and we may use it directly in joints. People who have knee pain also in the thigh up here will find tender points and help those knots relax. And as these knots relax in the thigh and the calf, they will stop pulling the knee joint so tightly, and the pain will be alleviated. One of the best things I notice that the electric stimulation helps for is the pain in the bottoms of the feet. So if we can turn this off for a second. The pains in the bottom of the feet, we will do for plantar fasciitis. They have pain and burning here on the bottoms of their soles, but it's often involved with the muscles here in the back of the calf. Those patients will usually have a lot of knots along here in the center, sometimes on the inside here. And then we can put the electric stimulation on this tendon here on either side and attach the electric stimulation to create a circuit back and forth here. The treatment now for Western medicine isn't very effective, and they don't have excellent treatment methods options. They sometimes offer a booty that helps try to stretch the calf muscle out. You wear it while you sleep, but the acupuncture works so well for that. So that's a really great use of the electric stimulation. And then finally, I'd like to show you a little bit about moxibustion. Moxibustion is, it comes in different forms, but it is an herb. They use the herb called alleviate, and we light this herb on fire. The properties of this herb are to warm the body, to promote circulation, to dissolve stagnation. It's excellent for alleviating pain. And we will leave those needles in that we did to show you some of the different forms. There are sticks of moxibustion like this. There are small sticks that have been cut into pieces that we can put on the tops of the needles. I can show you how we put it on this one. And we won't do it in the studio here today, but we can light these on fire, and they burn for a few minutes. They do not fall down onto your skin. This specific herb was chosen because it burns evenly, smoothly, and very slowly, and it doesn't fall apart into ashes. It holds its shape. We also usually put little skin protector cards here, so if there was anything to fall off, it would go right on to the floor and not touch the patient's skin. If the patient is not able to receive Moxa in the clinic, whereas in my clinic they have central air conditioning and it is not allowed, I use the Moxa sticks and I send these home with people. Some of the things we use to treat Moxa, the infertility is excellent. We will have patients use it along the back of the kidney points, which we just demonstrated to you. And the way that you use it is you hold it a few inches from the skin. Pretend this is on fire and it's like incense streaming smoke. Of course, we haven't lit it on fire today. We hold it. You can keep your pinky here on the skin to make sure that you have the same width from the same height from the skin to the fire. And then we can move in circles until the patient feels a nice warm sensation but not burning. We can move it up and down slowly. We can come over. We can even go in lines. We usually do moxibustion between 10 to 15 minutes depending on what areas we're working on. If we had Nathan turned on his other side, for the fertility ladies, we usually have them do their lower abdomen from the belly button down and here across the lower abdomen, and some points on the ankles and maybe even the hands to help promote circulation. But we also usually use this for a lot of pain and paralysis as well. A lot of the joint pain, especially as we get older, arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, those conditions have an element of damp and cold and wind. And so this can help to take out the cold, and it'll help warm the meridians and release some of the pain. So whatever joint you're suffering from, knee, shoulder, ankle, the moxibustion is excellent for that. Since it is smoke, this is contraindicated for people who have breathing or asthma conditions. It's contraindicated for people with really hot conditions because we don't want them warming up too much. And of course, we don't want to touch the skin because it's associated with the risks of burning and or scarring. We also advise people to do it outdoors or in an extremely well ventilated room because the smell afterwards does stay around for a while. And obviously we don't do it over open wounds. There are a couple other forms that the moxibustion comes in, and the one I brought today is the loose moxa. So this is the actual herb that's loose, and I don't particularly use this form, but some people will squish this into little cones shaped, and they may put it on a slice of ginger or some salt or a slice of fuzi, and they will put it directly on that and light this on fire, and it burns, and it's protecting the skin with a slice of ginger. When I saw this in Shanghai, I didn't see the protection with the slice of ginger, so that's partly why I don't use the loose very often. But this is another form that moxibustion comes in. And these can be used again and again. This is more than an hour worth of moxibustion. So when you are done with the moxibustion, you extinguish it in an old cup, and then once it's cool, you can use it again. They also have one that's called smokeless moxa. I don't know how smokeless it really is, but this is another option, another form that it comes in. And these are all excellent treatment methods that augment acupuncture. Thank you so much for joining us today, and until next time, mahalo.